If you asked me to name the brainiest dog breed, without a doubt I would crown the Border Collie. But with all that intelligence comes some huge problems, and there are some things that you definitely need to know if you want to have a long, happy life with one of these stunning yet intense dogs.
Are they a top tier furry companion, or are they a beautiful disaster in waiting? We'll see how they stack up on the Skooldoggery leaderboard with a little help from Freddie here when we need him. Yeah.
So if you're thinking of getting one, or if you just love the breed, then this is our breed overview of the magnificent Border Collie. If we really want to understand where the Border Collie's strengths and problems come from, we need to look into their history. They weren't just born in show ring condition, they were made. Dogs have been herding sheep for over 5,500 years. There has always been a deep relationship between farmers, dogs and sheep that has endured the test of time. Even into the modern world, nothing much has changed on that front, as the Border Collie is still an amazing choice for a sheepdog. Of course, breeding dogs for their specific skills and attributes is actually much more of a modern pastime. And the dog that we recognise as the Border Collie today came from the rugged borderlands between Scotland and England in the late 1800s. Like the Staffy, the Aussie and the Labrador, they were named for where they came from. The toffs in tweed coats really weren't that inventive when it came to naming dogs. If they'd have gone with something like the Whistle Hound or the Sheep Streamer, that would have been a much more interesting choice. Whatever they're called though, when you see a Border Collie hard at work, it's obvious that they have been bred for hard graft. If you've got a purebred Border Collie, then they're most likely descended from the stud dog Old Hemp. He impressed his owner, a sheepdog breeder called Adam Telfer, so much with his natural herding ability that he became a highly sought after stud dog. Some sources suggest that Old Hemp sired over 200 pups. So when people say, oh, it's a dog's life, it's always worth asking, yeah, but which dog? Border Collies are generally healthy and can live long, energetic lives if you take good care of them. They typically live for around 12 to 15 years, but there are always going to be outliers. The oldest collie on record was Bramble. She miraculously lived to the grand old age of 25 on a purely vegan diet. If that sounds like something that you'd like to try with your dog, then we've got a whole video here explaining why you most definitely should not. Like all breeds, Border Collies have got a few red flags on the vet chart. The most common things that you're going to want to watch out for with a Border Collie are hip dysplasia, that classic joint issue that pops up in so many medium to large breeds. Collie eye anomaly. Now this is a genetic condition that affects the retina that can lead to vision problems or blindness. Epilepsy. Unfortunately, this is a breed that are prone to seizures. Now a bit more rare but still just as serious is trapped neurophil syndrome. It's a genetic immune system disorder. Border Collies also have a very specific issue that needs shouting from the rooftops, and every potential owner should know that your dog may experience an allergic reaction to Ivermectin. This means that most Border Collies should actually stay away from wormers like Ivermectin, and you should try and find a different method to treat parasites. But yes, you should still make sure that you give them some kind of wormer and flea treatment as often as your vet recommends, but with the product that they recommend. There are genetic and health tests that you can get done before you buy a dog, so if you're looking to adopt a puppy from a reputable breeder, it's always worth asking if both the parents have been screened for any of these common health issues. If they haven't, then you really should run away faster than a collie chasing a tennis ball. So to start getting their scores together for their health, we're going to give them a 3.5 out of 5. Yes, they are generally quite healthy, but that's only if you're able to manage certain things and deal with any injuries from their enthusiastic adventures. Border Collies have a double coat, which means 2 layers of fur, a soft undercoat and a longer weather-resistant outer coat. They were built for the outdoors and it really shows. Now when it comes to shedding, they will shed a lot, all year round. even more in spring and autumn. If you're not ready to embrace a permanent layer of fluff on your clothes, your car seats and your soul, then maybe look at getting a shorter haired breed. They don't need the full doggy salon treatment every single week, as long as you can just get 2 of the right kinds of brushes and give them some regular combs through, everybody should be happy. Of course, don't forget the usual suspects. Ear cleaning, nail trims and regular teeth brushings are the bare minimum basics for all dogs. For grooming, we're going to give them another 3.5 out of 5. They aren't overly high maintenance, but that shedding can put a lot of people off. Let's think about how these guys act. A Border Collie is high energy, highly intelligent and highly alert. They're not angry, they're not lazy, and they're certainly not disinterested, but they can be very intense. Not aggressive, but definitely overwhelming for people who maybe aren't used to dogs. When they want to go, they want to go.
Wants to get the party started tonight. That is it.
Come on, let's go.
They thrive on structure, engagement, and learning. Working from home definitely doesn't suit them. There's a reason for this intensity, and it's in that working DNA. It doesn't just vanish because you've taken them to a house in suburbia with no sheep in sight. They need an outlet for their instincts that stops them herding the cat or riding round on the Roomba. When it comes to Border Collies, their high IQ makes them eager to learn, but be aware that they can easily outsmart inexperienced trainers. If they're not worked properly, they'll get separation anxiety and become disruptive or even develop physical health issues. You can expect obsessive behaviour and other problems if you can't give your Border Collie enough of a job to keep them occupied. A great way to help separation anxiety is crate training, which we've got a full video about over on our channel. For now, we'll just say that it's a great way of helping your Border Collie, or any dog for that matter, rest and relax in between those incredibly intense play sessions that they keep insisting on. If you are working with them though and can keep a varied daily training schedule, then they can be 10 out of 10, no notes, no problems there. So for their overall temperament and behaviour, I am going to give them a 2 out of 5. Now this is because their energy levels and their work ethic have to be respected. They can't be hanging around going stir crazy waiting for new families or newbie dog owners to figure out how on earth they're going to deal with them. Their needs need to be met and the score has to reflect that. Training a Border Collie is a dream. They rank number 1 in obedience and working intelligence in pretty much any test you can find. These guys regularly win at Crufts and other dog shows. They barely even give the other breeds a chance. According to Stanley Corin in his 1995 book, The Intelligence of Dogs, Border Collies learn new commands in less than 5 repetitions and obey the first command 95% of the time. That is some top tier level stuff. To give you something to compare that against, our staffy Freddie here usually takes about 40 repetitions of something before he gets to a 95% success rate. Now, Border Collies are food motivated, sure most dogs actually are, but if you want to know what really drives them, it's a purpose, a job, a mission. Give them a task like an agility course or flyball or herding trials, or even just fetching specific named items, and they will light up like a Christmas tree.
Now, of course, having the right treats for the right dog is essential, and if you want to help us out, you can buy Freddie here a bag of training treats down in the description box below. Good boy.
Now, a famous example of an incredibly clever Border Collie was Chaser, who learned over 1,000 words and can identify different objects by name. That's more than the average toddler, so I'm sorry to tell you that your dog is actually probably more intelligent than your kid. Border Collies aren't just incredibly trainable, they are useful too. Their signature intense stare has a name. It's called the eye or the hard eye. It's been used for centuries to help dogs control livestock with a gaze that says, "Don't even think about it, sheep." It's not quite "Baram you," but it's close enough. For training Border Collies, they are getting a 5 out of 5. They are the ultimate trainable dog. When it comes to socializing, Border Collies are polite with other dogs, but they're not always party animals. They're not typically the life of the dog park. Instead, they're more like the socially anxious overachiever who stands at the edge of the field judging the golden retriever for chasing butterflies. Because of those herding tendencies, early socialization is essential, not just to other breeds of dogs, but to people as well. We live next door to two beautiful Border Collies, and every day we see that they are incredibly loyal and affectionate with their family. With kids, they're surprisingly gentle and generally pretty cool as long as the kids aren't running around like headless chickens. One small note, because of their reputation for being a bit intense, some owners of, let's say, easier dog breeds might give you a bit of side eye at the park. But don't worry, just show off some of the agility and the recall that you've got and you can enjoy the smug factor all the way home. So for socializing, we're going to give them a 4 out of 5. They are brilliant if you get them right. There is a hard truth for first-time dog owners. Border Collies are not actually ideal for newbies at all. Yes, they are brilliant. Yes, they are beautiful. But they are high maintenance and need so much more exercise, both physical and mental, than most people are ready to give or even comprehend. If you're a first-time dog owner with a lot of time, patience and energy, and a true passion for learning about dog training, then maybe you could have one. But if you're expecting a chill, Netflix and snuggle kind of dog, then they should be a hard pass. Just like Huskies, so many Border Collies are ending up in shelters because people fall in love with the look, but not the lifestyle. So for first timers, we're going to give them a 2.5 out of 5. They are amazing dogs, but they are definitely not plug and play. So overall, Border Collies are breathtakingly smart, fiercely loyal and built for action. But they are not for the faint-hearted. They need structure, exercise, training and a job, or they will invent their own and you might not like what they come up with. They are perfect for the right person with the right attitude, but the wrong setup can lead to frustrations on both ends of the lead. If you are all in for the ride though, you will end up with one of the most incredible dogs on the planet. But are they the most incredible dog on our leaderboard? Let's take up the scores and have a look. Adding all the scores up for the Border Collie, they get 20.5 out of 30. So they're just above the Rottie, but they've not quite caught the Beagle. They are a truly brilliant breed, but they're not one that you can put on autopilot. If you've got a Border Collie, we'd love to hear your stories about them. If they need a little extra help with some of that socialization that we talked about, then check out our members area where we've got some ad-free socialization videos, or you can watch the free-to-watch playlist here. And if you want to see which video YouTube thinks you really need to see next from us, check it out down here. Thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for making it to the end. And until next time, look after yourself, but just as importantly, look after your dog.